Do you spend most of your time at a job that you hate, doing something you couldn't care less about and contributing far less than your true potential to this world? Well, guess what? You're not alone. Most people that we know can't stand their jobs. They complain about everything: the people, the commute, the hours, the pay, and the lack of control over their lives. The majority of people simply accept that having a job is something you just do in life, and they're not even trying to change it. But this is not about what society tells us or what other people do. It's about you. It involves reflecting on what you want your life to be all about. Do you want to spend the next 35 years feeling like you wasted your potential because you lived under some stupid set of rules your whole adult life? Look, we're not telling you to quit your job tomorrow, even though you would probably be just fine if you did. But if you feel like your job is keeping you from living the life you really want to live, and you'll never be fully satisfied until you try working for yourself, here are 10 reasons why you shouldn't work for someone else. Hello and welcome to our channel. The Way In is where you will find out how you can leave behind your current lifestyle in order to find your way into a better one, a life that reflects on your dreams and aspirations. Number 1, you will never be rich. Jack Ma, the co-founder of Alibaba, once said, "If you put bananas and money in front of monkeys, monkeys will choose bananas because monkeys do not know that money can buy a lot of bananas." In reality, if you offer job and business to people, they would choose job because most people do not know that business can bring more money than wages. Profit is better than wages, for wages can make you a living, but profits can bring you a fortune. So unless you're a professional athlete or a CEO of some big company, your chances of becoming rich working for someone else are slim to none. Nowadays in North America, $100,000 is considered being a really good salary. That's roughly $70,000 after taxes. Now imagine you live in an expensive city like New York, and you want to buy a small one-bedroom apartment that costs $1 million. You will need to work for 14 years without spending a single cent just to own this one property. Yeah, let that sink in. Number 2, lack of autonomy. In a traditional employment situation, your boss or manager is responsible for setting the rules and processes that you must follow while carrying out your job duties. These rules can range from specific ways of completing tasks to general expectations regarding behavior and conduct, and can also limit your autonomy and creativity. For example, if you have a different or more efficient way of completing a task, you may not be able to implement it if it doesn't align with your employer's established processes. This can be frustrating and can make you feel like you are not able to contribute as much as you could if you had more autonomy. Having limited autonomy can also impact your overall job satisfaction and motivation. When you don't have the ability to make decisions about your work or have control over your daily tasks, you may feel less invested in your work and less connected to your employer's goals and mission. Number 3, you will not get paid for what you're truly worth. It is not unusual to see 2 different people working in the same position for the same company with the same experience, but getting a different salary. Your coworker can be making as twice as much as you. Why? It's simple. The company that you work for doesn't care about you, and they certainly don't care enough to pay you more. They don't care about your life goals, your feelings, or the fact that you have bills to pay. If you want a raise, you will have to ask them, and even so, it probably won't be much. You're very easily disposable, and they won't think twice if they can replace you with someone willing to do your job for less money. It is very straightforward for your company. They are trying to make as much money as possible while paying you the bare minimum so they can make larger profits. Number 4, lack of job security. When you work for an employer, your job security is tied to their financial stability and business decisions. This means that if the company is struggling financially or makes strategic decisions that impact your role, your job may be at risk. Your employer may decide to downsize or restructure the company, which could result in layoffs or job loss. Alternatively, your employer may decide to outsource your job or automate certain tasks, which could also impact your job security. External factors such as changes in the economy or industry can have an impact as well. If the company is operating in a highly competitive industry or experiencing a downturn in business, they may be forced to make difficult decisions about staffing levels. Number 5, feeling of being trapped. When you work for an employer, you may feel like you are stuck in a particular role or career path with limited opportunities for growth or advancement. This can lead to a lack of motivation and engagement in your work, as you may feel like your efforts are not leading to meaningful progress or development. Feeling trapped in your job or career can lead to a sense of disillusionment or dissatisfaction with your work. You may feel like you are not making a meaningful contribution to your organization or that your skills and talents are being underutilized. This can lead to a negative cycle of disengagement and decreased motivation, which can ultimately impact your job performance and career prospects. Feeling trapped in your job or career can impact your overall sense of well-being and happiness. If you are unhappy in your work, it can spill over into other areas of your life, leading to increased stress, anxiety, and even depression. Number 6, absence of passion. Working for someone else can sometimes lead to a lack of passion for your job because you may not have as much control over the projects you work on or the direction of your career. As an employee, you are typically assigned tasks and projects by your boss based on his needs and priorities. While this can be useful for developing new skills and gaining experience, it can also limit your ability to pursue work that aligns with your passions and interests. When you don't have control over the direction of your career, you may not have the opportunity to pursue the types of projects or work that you find most fulfilling. This can create a lack of enthusiasm for your work and make it harder to stay engaged and productive. Number 7, entrepreneurial spirit. If you have an entrepreneurial spirit and a desire to create something of your own, working for someone else may not align with your long-term goals and aspirations. When you work for someone else, you are typically helping to build someone else's business or achieve someone else's vision rather than pursuing your own creative ideas or projects. It can limit your ability to take risks and pursue new opportunities. Your employer may have a specific way of doing things or a set of established processes and procedures that can be difficult to change or challenge. This can make it harder to pursue innovative ideas or take risks that could lead to new and exciting opportunities. If you have a strong entrepreneurial drive, you may find it difficult to be satisfied with the limitations of working for someone else. You may have a burning desire to create something of your own, and being an employee may feel like a roadblock to achieving your goals. Number 8, you get stuck in one location. If you're an employee, you may be limited in terms of where you can live and work. Your employer may have a physical location that you are required to work from, which can limit your geographical flexibility and make it difficult to relocate or travel. This can be particularly challenging if you have family or personal reasons for wanting to live in a particular location or travel to certain destinations. Being restricted in terms of geographical flexibility can limit your career opportunities and growth potential. You may not have access to certain job markets or industries that are located in other regions or countries, which can limit your ability to advance in your career or explore new opportunities. If you are someone who values travel and adventure, being restricted in terms of your geographical flexibility can be particularly limiting. You may feel like you are missing out on valuable experiences and opportunities to explore new cultures and environments. Number 9, limited creativity. Working for someone else requires following strict guidelines and procedures, which can limit your ability to be creative and think outside the box. You may be given specific instructions on how to complete tasks or projects, leaving little room for innovation and creativity. This can be particularly challenging if you are someone who thrives on being creative and coming up with new and innovative ideas. Limited creativity can impact your job satisfaction and motivation. If you are not able to express your creativity and work on projects that inspire you, you may become disengaged and unmotivated in your work. Number 10, you will lose your freedom. Once you start working for someone else, your schedule is decided by your boss. Let's say that today it will take you 7 hours to complete a certain task, Theoretically, if you work for yourself, you can start anytime, in the morning, afternoon, or even in the evening. It doesn't matter. As long as you can finish the task for that day, that's the only important thing. But when you work for someone else and your schedule says that you have to come in at 9 a.m., you will have to be there at 9 a.m., and if you don't want to, you will need to find an excuse. But how many excuses do you have for when you need to get out of work? How many times will you tell your boss that your dog died? Or your great-uncle Bob? How many emergency medical visits have you come up with? Or a broken car? Your basement is flooding. Do you see where we're going with this? You can't even go on a vacation without asking a permission from your boss. I mean, you're an adult. You wait your whole life to grow up and be independent just to keep asking permission to do things like you did when you were a little kid. A friend of ours who has worked for himself all his life decided to try at working for somebody else. He was very thrilled about the concept because it was his first time being an employee. He quit his new job and went back working for himself after 3 weeks. And when we asked him why, he told us that he was reminded why he decided to work for himself in the first place. Freedom. While there are certainly challenges involved in being self-employed, the potential rewards can make it a worthwhile and fulfilling career path for those who are up for the challenge. And you know what they say. If you don't take risks, you will never drink champagne. Thank you for watching. If you're an entrepreneur like us and you are trying to build wealth, check out our video about 5 things you should avoid if you're trying to get rich. See you in the next one.